It don't matter the color of the skin, either woman or man. Just let the case land. It's here, it's in safe hands. This is God work, not a fake plan. Too many kids being found in these lakes, man. This is MTGV, and you with Miss V. She keep her ear to the streets, drum to a beat.
On the Upper West Side,
This is the place
according to
that you
surveillance
wanna
footage
be.
reviewed
But
by
all
local
trolls we
authorities,
delete.
police later released these images of the suspect, whom authorities believe
Welcome in,
was
everybody.
with a desk clerk in the hospital these days before the shooting. 6:15 a.m. In this surveillance footage, police sources tell ABC News an individual who appears to be the suspect is seen leaving a subway station just 3 blocks away from where the crime would unfold moments later. These surveillance photos show the suspect at a Starbucks sometime before the shooting. His face is partially covered. The exact time of this sighting has not yet been confirmed. 6:29 a.m. A person who appears to be the suspect walks past the parking lot on West 54th Street, just 50 meters away from the site of the shooting. 6:44 a.m. The victim, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, is seen walking towards the Hilton Hotel, where the company's annual investors conference is set to take place. The masked gunman comes up behind Thompson and shoots him in the back. Nearby witnesses would later describe the suspect as holding a gun with a silencer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to MTGV Crime Podcast. So y'all see what we getting right into. I see that they had a press conference this morning, and I wanted to come in to see what the update was. I heard a little bit where they were saying that they know who he is, which I said already, but they didn't want to give up his name and all of this stuff, and something about his family. So we gonna get right into it. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody on the replay. Drop down and let me know who's here. Please be sure to smack the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Let's go.
Surveillance footage shows the gunman continuing to shoot Thompson as he walked towards him, stopping to clear a gun jam before firing again. Police tell ABC News the shooter first fled on
Shout out the
foot
street
and then
in the
got on an
building.
electric bike heading north towards Central Park. 6:48 a.m. Officers arrive and find Thompson on the sidewalk with gunshot
Welcome
wounds
in,
to the
Frugal
leg and
Mama.
head. He is taken to a hospital where he would later be pronounced dead. Police called the killing brazen, targeted, and premeditated.
Shout out
The
to
shooter
Latasha
appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light
Light-skinned
brown
male.
or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask,
Oh,
black and white
light
sneakers,
skin.
and a very distinctive gray backpack.
Just before 7 a.m., a person who appears to be the suspect is seen on the Upper West Side riding a bike. He's heading west, away from Central Park. He appears to no longer be carrying a backpack. Police say they're closing in on releasing the name of the suspect, but he remains at large. The bullet casings found at the scene had the words "deny, defend, and depose" written on them.
You know, like I said, the thing that shocks me the
The
most
motive for
is how they got him on camera everywhere, but don't have him yet. And he was able to split.
Now to this, nearly a week after UnitedHealthcare.
He was able to get out of their sight without them knowing. So I will say, hey, you know, they were, I noticed that a lot of people that were talking about this, and let me turn this music down. They were saying that he's no pro, he's no professional and all this stuff, right? But I will say maybe not on the shooting, but getting away he is, because he ain't caught. So let's go.
CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down in Manhattan. The nationwide manhunt for his killer is expanding as far south as Atlanta now. The NYPD is hunting for clues in Georgia this morning as dive crews and the FBI continue to scour Central Park in New York City.
Let me see. So I just wanted to point out it's actually 2 cars off to the side that got lights on. I wonder how many people was in this vehicle. This one right here and the one up there, and it might be one up there also. This lady right here, she's lucky that she didn't get hit, because I actually have footage, and I think I deleted it and didn't edit it, but I actually have footage of the guy, the Brian, when he got hit. He actually staggered like over to this area right in front of where this lady was at. And he turned around and faced the guy that was firing at him. And so I just wonder, if they talk to her. Last time I heard, I think she hadn't come forward. But look how what is this, a SUV? How many people was in there? So that'll be interesting to find out everything that they know, because I'm curious. Everybody is. And then, I seen that Jay-Z and Donald Trump, everybody is talking about them. And I want to know what's going on with Jay-Z, just like with Diddy. I talked about it in the beginning and I didn't follow it, and I'm not gonna follow it, but I just want to know what's being said. And also Donald Trump, because it's a lot of moving parts with that. He doing a lot, talking about releasing the people from the January 6th incident
in New York City for the murder weapon.
And changing a lot of stuff. So
News Nation's Caitlin Becker joins us live from New York this morning. Caitlin, we have 2 new photos of the suspect, and New York's mayor says police know who they're looking for now.
Go to this press conference.
Want to get you caught up on the latest in the search for the gunman who killed UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Law enforcement says it is widening its search.
The FBI is also upping the reward in an effort to find the man authorities believe is responsible. Pauline Lee joins us this morning with the very latest on the investigation. Pauline.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we know the investigation started in New York. Obviously, some of it's taken place here in Minnesota, as Thompson called Maple Grove home. But now it's expanded to several state lines as investigators continue searching for the shooter. So here's what we know so far. Police sources told CBS News investigators with the NYPD and U.S. Marshal Service have been dispatched to Atlanta and along the Greyhound bus route stops between Atlanta and New York City. Now they're looking to find out where this person of interest boarded the bus that took him to the Port Authority bus terminal in New York on November 24th. That's about a week and a half before the shooting happened. Now, officials are also canvassing Greyhound terminals and reviewing surveillance footage in an effort to kind of pin down where that point in time where that suspect boarded the bus. A person familiar with the investigation says officials found a jacket and Monopoly money in the gray backpack believed to be carried by the gunman, though the jacket in the backpack was not one that he was seen wearing during the shooting. Now, the backpack was found discarded in New York Central Park, and of course, investigators have been there all weekend. In fact, divers with the NYPD searching Central Park's lake yesterday, hoping to find more clues about this murder mystery. In the meantime, FBI has upped the reward for any information to about $50,000, and that's any information that could be leading to an arrest. And New York City Mayor also said over the weekend that officials know who they're searching for. They just don't want to release his name prematurely so as to tip him off. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Okay. Pauline, thank you. Now, while police continue searching out east, security measures are increasing here in Minnesota at the UnitedHealthcare facility in Minnetonka.
So I see, I think Latasha said, you think it's an inside job? Even when someone's arrested, I truly think, why you think it's an inside job? Some people, it seems like it because he knew his exact time frame that he would be walking out of there. 2 backpacks. Look at that picture I sent. Tell me what you think. I don't know what's going on with all these different backpacks, coats, and all of that kind of stuff. It's weird to me. But let me keep this playing. I thought that this was, let me see. I think they're gonna be in this somehow. If not, I'm going to have to find
that property is now surrounded in new fencing and police cameras. Meanwhile, UCare's main campus will be closed all week after receiving a concerning call. They told us that there haven't been any threats to its regional campuses, but they did increase security for employee safety. Medical also closed offices last week out of precaution, though a spokesperson told us that there have been no threats to that company or its workers. There are 2 major court cases that we are following today. The first, the Minneapolis murder suspect who evaded police for 2 years, is expected to appear before a judge.
Kevin Mace is in his name. He's accused of shooting and killing Dontavius Catchings in the parking lot of Shadow Temple. This was back in June of 2021. It happened during a visitation for someone else killed in a shootout in front of a Minneapolis nightclub. Mason avoided police for 2 years. I'm going to switch to this right quick.
I got to find the right video. So, I didn't put Sonia Massey on the thumbnail. I'm going to have to change it. But we all know, I talked about Sean Grayson the other day, and they are releasing him. And he's supposed to go back to court in January, and I don't know where they are with that. but it looked like he is going to be released. And so I wanted to go over this. This is the family and different people talking. And this is from, I do believe, yesterday. Welcome in, Tamika Davis.
Our patience has worn. Sonya called for help. She said there was a prowler outside of her house. Someone was trying to break in. Deputy sheriff showed up, walked around Sonya's house, said that they didn't see anything, knocked on her door, had a conversation with her, asked her whose car was that parked in the driveway that had nothing to do with anything, went back to Sonya, confronted her, followed her in her house, uninvited, and said, basically, we need to talk. Sonya called 911 and had them on the telephone. The deputy sheriff told 911, it's okay, we're here, you can go ahead and hang up. Sonya told them, no, stay on the call. I need you on this call. She turns around, she looks at the deputy and says,
this is a very good part that she's bringing up, because I noticed that, and at first I didn't quite understand what was going on, but the Springfield police, I believe, is who was on the phone, and that's who she trusted. She didn't trust this other police department that they sent. And it's like, some with jurisdictions or something, and that's why she didn't want to hang up the phone. But we hear eager Sean Grayson, oh, you can hang up, we got it. So
on the telephone. The deputy sheriff told 911, it's okay, we're here, you can go ahead and hang up. Sonya told them, no, stay on the call. I need you on this call. She turns around, she looks at the deputy and says, can you hand me my Bible? And you can see he got very, very irritated when she says, can you hand me my Bible? The next thing he says to her, hey, don't you have something on the pot? You need to go over there and turn it off. And she was like, okay. So she got up, she goes to the kitchen, she picks up the pot with 2 pot holders, proceeds to move the pot off the stove, and she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. This demon devil got so upset and said, what did you say? I'll shoot you in the effing face. But before you can count to 3, he shot her in the face. And then he didn't want to call for help. He didn't want to try to resuscitate her or get help. This is why we're here today. The day before Thanksgiving, of all days, you talk about being grateful. Sonia Massey's family had to spend their first holidays without Sonya, her children, her parents. Her father is here today, and you'll hear from him. But what a horrible time to start the holiday season without your loved one, especially one who was assassinated. I don't say murder. She was assassinated. And as a Black woman, I fear for my...
She really was. And as a matter of fact, I mean, she is right on point. Like, they letting him out right before Christmas, New Year's, and they not going to have her anymore, period. This was the very first holiday, so it really stung. And already they dealing with, oh, he's getting out because he got cancer. And everybody need to feel some type of emotions for him because of his cancer. But she was schizophrenic and had mental issues going on at that moment. And where was his empathy for her? Where was his compassion? He had none.
My life as a result of it. You call for help. And I want to say to all of America, when you're calling for help, don't call 911. Call 899-811. There are other numbers that you can call for medical attention, especially if there's mental health crisis involved. We are moving forward with our lives.
And that's some information that I only heard with this case. I didn't even know that. So that's good to know. Did y'all know that? What did she say? 899 and 811?
Call 899-811.
Yeah.
There are other numbers that you can call for medical attention, especially if there's mental health crisis involved. We are moving forward with our lives, but the Massey family cannot move forward with their lives. They are forced to move forward with their lives. And what was ironic about getting that call the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is I worked on the Earl Moore case, and those 2 individuals were released. We were told that they were going to be released the day before Thanksgiving on television. The family did not receive a call. And why is this a coincidence? I personally, Teresa Haley, contacted attorney Ben Crump and said, Ben, I need you here. Ben and I have been friends working on cases since Trayvon Martin. And let me tell you, before Trayvon Martin, deja vu, another young Black man was killed in Florida. But because he did not come from social economic background or have parents like Trayvon Martin had parents that could hire an attorney like Ben Crump, that was swept under the rug. As the former state president for the NAACP, I worked on the case in Chicago. Young Black man shot 16 times in the back. Walking down the street, the police officer was let go. Enough is enough. We are tired of being sick and tired. And I am tired of talking right now. So at this time, I'm going to bring up some members of our community. Some of them serve on the new commission for the Massey Commission. Some of them are just community leaders. Some of them are just residents. But most importantly, we have Sonia Massey's father here today, and you're going to hear from Mr. James Wilburn. But first, I want to bring up Calvin Christensen to speak. Let's give him a hand as he comes forward. Let's encourage these young people.
Just to reiterate, my name is Calvin Christian. Thank you, Teresa, for inviting me. I serve on the Sonia Massey Commission, and I serve on the Sonia Massey Commission to bring a change to the community. And I want to bring a change because after looking and viewing the video, enough is enough. We have to do change for the community and the police department. When I looked at the video, all I could think about were my children. And if my children were to call 911 and ask for help, how would the police respond to them? And that's why I decided that I was going to serve on the Sonia Massey Commission. I want to point out too as well that in viewing the video, this is not just a one-off occurrence. How the police were speaking before they even interacted with Sonia Massey, they do that a lot. But I just want to say thank God for body camera footage. Thank God for it. Because now it's just bringing a light to not just one bad apple or not just one bad seed, but it's showing in all the entire police department and how change needs to be started and needs to continue. Even though we have the Safety Act right now, yes, change needs to be implemented into the Safety Act. And not only that, but even for the appellate court to rule the day before Thanksgiving, and we have the family that is living without Sonia Massey. I mean, come on now. How can the appellate court do that? But right now, the appellate court has ruled that Sean Grayson, he won't have pretrial determinations until January 2nd. But right now, they are leaving it up to the Supreme Court to rule whether he can remain in custody based off the Safety Act. So right now, I think everybody needs to lean on the Supreme Court and say, hey, you guys need to step in within these next 35 days. That's what this is about. The Illinois Supreme Court, step in now. Don't let it wait. Step in now. Thank you.
So I did a speech a couple years ago that said the time is now to stand up and fight. The time is now to do what's right. The time is now to take a stand. The time is now for our Supreme Court justice to do what you can and do the right thing. Let's keep this creep in jail. She was somebody's mother. She was somebody's daughter, somebody's granddaughter, and that family doesn't have her anymore. How can you say that we didn't have enough evidence? Everybody watched it on national TV. I have friends in other countries who watched this and said, oh my God, is that what happens in America? Yeah, I'm ashamed. It's truly unfortunate that in 2024, we are still dealing with this and keep knocking at the door, but we need to knock the door down and knock those doors open. We wanted to do this press conference, this rally right across the street from the appellate court to say enough is enough. And are you blind? Did you not see or hear what the rest of us saw or heard? This is not about politics. This is about people. This is about a young woman losing her life. And at this time, I'm going to bring up our next speaker. And as you come up, please introduce yourselves. Tell them your name, if you're representing yourself or if you're representing an organization. Yes, sir. Come on up. Let's give him a hand.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Brown. I wasn't prepared to speak. I do, have a strong conviction for justice and the truth. And obviously what happened with Sonia and her family is unforgivable. To focus on the current issue of Sean Grayson being released, this does seem like these appellate court judges are kind of politicizing their own agenda and putting that upon the process here. We have faith that the Supreme Court will do the right thing. And this time, me personally, I'm not speaking for anyone but myself. I do want to call for our local elected officials to make strong statements condoning these actions of these appellate judges, and also, calling for the Supreme Court and also our state senators, state representatives, the governor, and even our federal representatives to make strong statements and put the pressure on the Supreme Court to do what's right. We've rehashed what took place at Sonia's home, and under no circumstances, like someone like Sean Grayson should.
So today I'm having one of those days. If you come in laughing and ain't nothing funny, you're going to be blocked. Welcome to the block party. Happy Monday. The hell out of here with that.
Never be out again. And I also want to add, I'm currently serving on the Massey Commission in the work group focused on law enforcement,
now make another one.
Training and cultural competency. And the group is made up of primarily current and former law enforcement officials and apparatus. And they are pretty resistant to any measured reforms, any real bold changes that I push forth in the group. And I encourage some of the media to come attend some of these meetings. They're public. The Massey Commission, it's all public. We need a little more scrutiny on the process here. We don't want Sonia's death to be politicized. It's really a tragedy that these judges have done that. And we want to make sure that justice is served and Sean Grayson never sees the public again. Thank you.
That's what needs to happen.
Speaking of the Safety Act, you all know that a couple of years ago when we were pushing the Safety Act, I supported it. My organization supported it. We thought it was really a good thing, especially the no cash bail. So many Black and brown people are in jail. They lose their families, they lose their homes, they lose their jobs just because they can't afford bail. So that was our main push in the Black and brown community in supporting the Safety Act. But it's been taken totally out of context. I'm asking the legislators to go back and to visit the act.
So I just want to say this is how we get duped on stuff. They present it as if it's going to help the Black community, and then it flips and help the person that did it. That's what I'm thinking. Let's hear what she got to say.
And see what we can do to tweak it, because it definitely needs tweaking. If a person is charged with murder, not even convicted yet, they are a risk to society. If not themselves, they are a risk to the rest of us. If Sean Grayson was to get out today, he can change his hair color, his eye color. We wouldn't even know him. He would blend in with the community. I wouldn't feel safe, and I hope.
I mean, he could just grow his facial hair, and well, he had the facial hair when he did it, and when he cut the facial hair, he looked like a total different person. Like those beards and mustaches be saving lives. I'm telling you, because you don't see the thumb that's up under there.
Hope that you wouldn't feel safe. So we're asking our legislators to revisit it, to say if someone is charged with murder, double murder, to keep them in jail. The judges need to use their discretion, but they also need to use common sense. Because this 3-panel judges decided that he was not a risk, he was not a harm to himself or the rest of us. We need to revisit it. We need to revise the Safety Act as is written today.
So let's see. It says the Safety Act was enacted into law by the Illinois legislation in 2021 as a massive crime reform package that addresses police training, equipment, and makes reforms to prison rights. But now, a recent 4th District Appellate Court unanimous opinion that would have allowed for pretrial release of Sean Grayson Okay, and we already know who Sean Grayson is. The act has been taken totally out of context, which we just heard her say. But let me look at something else. Because I remember him saying when he was locked up, yeah, this whole Safety Act bullshit. So this is a article from September 12th of 2022. Let's see what they talking about here. So a massive crime reform, and this is about the Safety Act. It says the end of cash bail and more. What's in the Illinois Safety Act? So a massive crime reform package passed by the Illinois General Assembly in 2021 is once again in the spotlight, with election day less than 3 months away. And again, this is from 2022. So Republican state legislators recently again aired their grievance with the 746-page Safety Act. Oh my God, that's a lot. Like, man, who got time to read all that? I mean, it's so much in 746 pages. One of its many provisions will end cash bail, where defendant is required to pay a percentage of a bail set by a judge to be released from prison, making Illinois the first state to do so. Where defendant is required to pay a percentage of bail set by a judge to be released from prison. So they put the power in the judge's hand, and the judge said, let him out, is what I'm hearing. So meanwhile, a nonpartisan task force formed under the Supreme Court is working to assist with the implementation of the justice system ahead of January 1st, and has identified unclear contradiction sections of the bill that lawmakers should reconsider before January 1st. So they had some unclear contradictions. In 746 pages, I bet they did. In my opinion, they need to shorten it. It don't need to be that 746 pages so we can keep track of what's really being said. In 746 pages, they can put something together and take it out by the end of the damn book. Like, anyway, let this keep playing.
Because I got family members who are charged with murder, who are sitting in jail, but they also got a drug charge. But guess what? They've made that drug charge higher than a murder charge. They ain't hurt nobody that didn't want to buy the drugs. But when you look at our system, they're considered a menace to society. So is Sean Grayson. At this time, I'm going to ask Reverend Gary to come up. Let's give him a hand as he comes forward.
Now that's ridiculous, what she just said right there.
Judges decided that he was not a risk. He was not a harm to.
They shouldn't have gave the judge that power to, oh, well, the judge's opinion is he need to be out, so let's let him out. The same thing that Sean Grayson called bullshit is the same thing that's getting him out.
Keep them in jail. The judges need to use their discretion, but they also need to use common sense, because this 3-panel judges decided that he was not a risk.
3-panel judge decided he wasn't a risk. How so? Now, who were those judges? Who did they look like?
He was not a harm to himself or the rest of us. We need to revisit it. We need to revise the Safety Act as it's written today. Because I got family members who are charged with murder, who are sitting in jail, but they also got a drug charge. But guess what? They've made that drug charge higher than a murder charge. They ain't hurt nobody that didn't want to buy the drugs.
That's crazy. You know why they did that? Because they want to target a certain group of people.
But when you look at our system, they're considered a menace to society. So is Sean Grayson. At this time, I'm going to ask Reverend Gary to come up. Let's give him a hand as he comes forward.
My name is Minister Gary P. Pierce, Kia David Ministries. I reside in Springfield since 2001. I've been through some things myself as far as when it comes to racial discrimination. I lived like 2 or 3 blocks from this young lady that got killed by the police. I had encounters with them myself, and some of them were good, some of them were bad. You know, I've had a friendship with some of them, and then some of them, I just don't trust. It's just like somebody say, when you call 911, you want to be able to trust them to come and take care of business. I called them about a neighbor of mine that wanted to cut down my trees without my permission. I called them. He called them and told them I had a gun, and you could hear the sirens before I even got there. So I mean, we in this community. I'm from Northern Illinois. I grew up in Northern Illinois. I live in Springfield now, like I said, since 2001. I've suffered more discrimination in Central Illinois than I have anywhere else I've lived. I lived in Louisiana, and I didn't have no problems. My wife is from Louisiana. I never had the problems that I had around here. And I'm not trying to say that everybody in Central Illinois is racist, but it's a lot of racism. And if you experience it firsthand, then it's something that you want to get taken care of. I've called upon the community many times to have conversations, serious conversations. I belong to groups that have serious conversations. I've called on the Ministerial Alliance, of which I'm a member, and I'm the political chairman, to do something and say something. This is ridiculous. I mean, we're all human. We need to sit down and talk about these things. We don't need to keep on hating on each other. It's enough for everybody. And we need to focus. I'm gonna say this. I may not go along with my sister here, But we need to focus on us. It's time for the United States of America to focus on us and our citizens, and we need to close our borders for a minute to do that. I'm being honest with you. We need to start focusing on us. We got some serious conversations that we need to have, and some of these things come from the fact that we have a lot of unemployment. We got our African-American males being incarcerated unfairly, and now we got our African-American females being incarcerated unfairly. And then we have a lot of single-parent homes. And that leaves our African-American women unprotected. Some of them are unprotected because there's no males in the home. Some kind of thing going on here. There's something going on here that is deeper than what some of us can even understand. But being a man of God, I know it's a spiritual thing. So we got to call upon the mighty God to help us and fill us with the Holy Spirit power to be ready to do these things that we need to do as people. As people, we need to sit down and have some serious conversation, not this faking, shaking stuff, hand-picked committee members and all that kind of stuff. Some serious members in the community. I even volunteered my name. Guess what? I'm not on the commission. I'm not offended because I'm gonna still step up. I'm gonna still talk about the injustices because that's what God placed me on this earth to do. I can't stand it, and I'm gonna fight against it as long as I can live, as long as I'm alive. I'm gonna continue to fight against injustice. And thank you, Teresa, Sister Haley, for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Shout out to everybody in the building. Please smack that thumbs up if you have not. So this is one thing that I like to do on my channel. If I start talking about a crime, a case, I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna keep following it until the end. The end is when that person is arrested, and I mean not arrested, but the trial ends and all of that stuff. So we're going to be paying attention to this. And this is what's going on right now. See, this is how, like in the beginning, everybody make a lot of noise. Everybody is upset. But the world moves on and never look back to see what's going on still. And how they are dismantling everything that was put together because of the uprise of people being upset. So we have to continue to be united with this stuff. We can't forget about it. We got to continue to keep it in the spotlight because they won't. Now, we've been looking at this CEO unalive, and what are we on? Day 5 or 6? The news have not stopped their stride with talking about this case. That's how we got to be on it. Period. Don't let it go.
And say what I need to say. Thank you.
Next, we're going to bring up Attorney Sam Cameron, who also serves as a county board member. Let's give him a hand as he comes forward.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you all for coming here today. I'm here with my daughter, Justice. We've heard the phrase "Justice for Sonia Massey."
I appreciate
Justice is actually here today for Sonia Massey. But I remember after the tragic killing of Sonia Massey, a number of members of the press asked Ben Crump, the attorney representing the family, if the Sheriff Jack Campbell should resign. And I thought his answer was very appropriate. He said, well, that should be up to the voters of Sangamon County. The problem is, and I agree with him, the problem is that there was no mechanism for the voters of Sangamon County to express their will on whether they wanted Sheriff Jack Campbell to continue in office or they wanted him to resign. That's why we need recall in Sangamon County, and that's why my fellow county board member, Mark Ayers, who's here, and 2 other county board members, and I introduced a resolution to enact recall for our county sheriff in Sangamon.
Some people only care because it's popular. You know what I'm saying? But you got to care through it all. If you really care, you would keep talking about it when ain't nobody talking about it. And I've done that with several cases. 2 specifically, Orson West, Classic and Sincere, the boys from Cali that was missing, and Jelani Day. I have not stopped talking about him when nobody is talking about him.
In county, and that resolution is going to be heard at a special elections committee meeting this evening. It's going to hold a hearing on that resolution at 5.
And also Anaya Day Garrett, a 4-year-old that was unalived in 2018. I continue to talk about her through interrogation videos and stuff like that. And that's actually the case that got me, that made me Make This Go Viral.
30 over at the auditorium at Sangamon South, which is the building, the old State Journal Register building just south of the county building on 9th between Capitol and Monroe. And if any of you or any members of the public want to express their position as to whether the voters of Sangamon County should have the right to recall their county sheriff, come to that meeting tonight and you can testify as to whether you support recall or if you oppose recall. Many of our neighboring states, such as Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Missouri, have recall for local elected officials, and about 39 states have recall. We actually have recall in Illinois for the office of governor. That was enacted by an amendment to the Constitution after the
called 911 for help. Today,
Former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy is set to be released from jail. Good evening. I'm Brandon Morano.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Sean Grayson is accused of killing Sonia Massey nearly 5 months ago after she called 911 for help. Today, he appeared in court over Zoom. We have team coverage tonight with our Capitol News team, WCIA3's Theodore.
And this is from 6 days ago.
Lavaris is live outside the Sangamon County complex in Springfield. And Cole Hinkey is live in our Capitol newsroom. First to Theodora, what happened in court today?
Jennifer, they set up a new court date for Sean Grayson. It's going to be this Friday, and that's to go over the conditions of release for Grayson. But the Sangamon County State's Attorney is looking to step in, planning on filing an appeal to the state's high court. Former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson could be out from behind bars by the end of this week. A hearing is set for Friday to go over what conditions could be established for his release pending trial.
I'm only concerned about one thing: getting him released pursuant to the order of the appellate court.
The hearing comes days after an appellate court unanimously ruled Sean Grayson should not be detained pre-trial. Grayson has been in jail since mid-July on first-degree murder charges.
We would expect the appropriate court to take prompt action on whatever pleading the state might be putting in front of either the 4th District Appellate Court or the Supreme Court.
In its decision, the 3-judge panel wrote that prosecutors did not prove Grayson would be a threat to the public if he wasn't detained pre-trial with conditions. So it recommended he be released, and the Sangamon County Court should set those conditions. But the Sangamon County State's Attorney's Office plans to file an appeal with the Illinois Supreme Court, asking them to not only put a pause on the appellate court ruling, but to also make the final decision. If the court does issue a stay, Grayson wouldn't be released pending the Supreme Court's ruling. That came as a shock to the Massey family and to many in the community.
They're spending their first holidays without their loved one, and Sean Grayson could possibly spend his holidays with his family. That's unfair, and it's a continuous reminder that our lives don't matter, and that's why we continue to stand up and say that Black lives matter.
Sonia Massey's father spoke to reporters after Monday's hearing. He called the appellate court's ruling a, quote, serious miscarriage of justice. And when asked about potential conditions of Grayson's release, he said, quote, when my daughter can get up and walk out of that cemetery, then he can get out of jail. Grayson has another court date set up for January, and that's to focus on the status of the criminal case. Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Theodora Lavaris, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Theodora, thank you
Street
so much.
said
Now,
it,
again,
period.
It has been 5 months.
That's it.
Massey was killed.
They claiming it's because he got cancer and he got this colostomy bag, and because he need to be, for treatment, he need to be home. But they need to learn from what is that disgusting guy I was just talking about, Golubsky, who unalived himself on the first day that he was supposed to be in court. Allegedly, he unalived himself and had been terrorizing Black folks for over 30 years through rape and prostitution rings and all of this stuff. They let him spend his time at home awaiting trial, and that's what they got. So what, they want a repeat of that, I guess. He don't deserve to be out. I don't care what he got. He knew that he had that when he took her life. And he didn't even think about, he never even imagined himself being in prison. So he need to pay for what he did, just like any other criminal would. The fact that he still didn't treat her. He told us, called her a crazy bitch and all of that stuff. Where did he gather all that information from? Just from his encounter with her? Or was he told something later? Like, it's other things they need to be investigating. Like why did he even say that? And did his girlfriend have anything to do with the way that he perform with Sonia Massey, allegedly because she was a nurse at the hospital that she was at, and allegedly they got into it. What do we know about that? How about they investigate that and instead of trying to figure out how they can get him out?
Goyevich debacle
and should nothing be up to no judge? I mean, I've been sitting up here looking at so much corruption in the police departments around the world. I'm telling you, it's so much. It's just that a lot of them just don't get picked up by social media. But it's so much of that going on. Corruption. Judges. I mean, matter of fact, I'll talk about the judge. I forgot to put him on here, but I was supposed to talk about it the other day. The judge and the sheriff. The sheriff that unalived the judge, and now we finding out all this disgusting more stuff. These are the people that determine where you spend the rest of your life at when they don't follow the damn law themselves, when they're more corrupt than anybody else. What are they, Jesus? Not at all. I mean, how can you break the law and then trying to force somebody to, really, I mean, you force the law and you don't follow the law. It just don't make no damn sense, man. I can't even.
Of course, occurred in this building. So the reason we need recall is because if people lose confidence in their elected officials, they need a way to remove that elected official, and recall is the way to do it. It's not easy to do. You have to get a lot of signatures on a petition, and then the question goes on the ballot, and then the voters decide yes or no, should we have recall. And if this resolution, if the County Board Elections Committee recommends passage of this resolution, as, by the way, the Massey Commission has already urged and recommended that the County Board adopt recall for the Office of County Sheriff. If this resolution is recommended for passage by the Elections Committee and then passed by the full County Board, it will have to go to be put on the ballot as a binding referendum in the April 1st election. There's a provision in the Illinois Constitution that allows both home rule and non-home rule units, such as Sangamon County, to adopt recall by a binding referendum, which would go on the ballot. So any of you, if you can come tonight to the Elections Committee meeting at 5:30 at Sangamon Center South Auditorium, please come, and thank you all for being here today. And thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Sam. Next, we have some family and friends that we're going to bring up. So Asante can be here. He's at work, but he has a very special person to come and talk. So you want to come on up and introduce yourself, please? Let's give her a hand as she comes forward. Come on, doctor.
Hello, my name is Margarita Foltz, and I'm the fiance of Sonia Massey. Sonia meant a lot to us, and although he couldn't be here today, he wanted to make sure that the impact of this tragic loss was represented. Sante writes, "Good afternoon. Friday, December 6th will mark the 5th month that my cousin Sonia Lene Massey was tragically executed in her kitchen. And while most are enjoying their holiday season, my family are struggling to cope with the devastating loss. In a surprising twist that quite frankly is extremely poor taste and an egregious lack of sensibility, Sean Grayson is set to have a hearing on discussing the terms of his pretrial release on this terrible anniversary. Approximately 5 months after an unspeakable crime was perpetuated on Springfield's mother, daughter, sister, aunt, friend, confidant. The list goes on. A trio of Illinois appellate court judges granted pretrial release to her murderer through the Safety Act that was intended for low-level offenders, but subsequently provided a legal loophole to this legal team. This is payback, in my humble opinion, for passing the Safety Act. But the bigger issue is more ominous prospect: public confidence. While we were set to publicly dedicate a bridge to honor Sonya, this beautiful gesture has almost been undone by this horrible decision had we not been granted a stay until January 2nd. Ironically, the day after Sante's Aunt Donna's birthday, who's Sonia's mom. I implore the Illinois Supreme Court to reconsider this ruling and keep this murderer behind bars, not only for our sakes, but for mental anguish and so many others that have gone through this exacting and final police brutality. Everyone is watching the state of Illinois, and we hope that the Illinois Supreme Court makes the right decision. In my capacity as a transformational justice leader, I wrote a piece this morning to reflect on the impact this has on the community and on the Black race. I wish to God I could tell you an appellate court flaw is the name of the piece. I wish I could tell you it was not deep down and in there and systemic, but I cannot. It is truly, truly hit people of color and poverty like a full-blown pandemic.
Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we've been living 2020 since I've been alive. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the world, we see how they react when they are under pressure and when things are not going quite their way. But no, it don't stop over here. So shout out to everybody in the building. Please smack that thumbs up if you have not. I will greatly appreciate it. And so why were the family not supporting her through her family was supporting her, but at some point you need a doctor. You need people that are trained to deal with that. And her mother said that this is not something that she's been going through or dealing with all of her life. Her mother said that she do recall her being like bipolar. Like when she was a teenager, she tried, some things happened and she knew that. But never the schizophrenia thing and the stuff that she was doing, it was all new. So her family was supporting her. Okay. Shout out to Double Speak Telecast. Welcome in. I seen you on my other phone, but I don't see you here. But boy, these comments be commenting. Wait a minute, why is he being released? And then I see Brian said his family was passing away and they didn't release him. And there's a lot of other people that die in prison from ailments and they don't be released. And just because and he's not even a cop anymore. He is a fired cop. And they still upholding this whole boys in blue whole good old boy system. And it ain't okay. And we need to keep talking about it. So also we need to remember everything that they act like he wasn't everything that they said about him wasn't true. All of the stuff that he did, the lying, it should go without even saying. Like, I don't even know why are we even talking about this? It's sad, but this is what happened all the time, y'all. People are angry, they talk about it, they forget about it, and before you know it, the person released and ain't nobody talking about it because ain't nobody paying attention no more. That's what it is. But we gonna remember over here.
Sonia's death has gained national attention after Illinois State Police released the body camera footage. Former Deputy Sean Grayson has since been fired from the department and is charged with murder in her death. County officials say they were not confused about if the gunshot that killed Sonia Massey was self-inflicted. This comes after confusion on the 911 dispatch about whether the gunshot was self-inflicted. News Channel 20's Julia Rosier joins us now with more.
These was the lies also that was told in the beginning that I don't hear nobody talking about in court. Like, who told the lie in the beginning that it was self-inflicted? It was never self-inflicted, and I heard it on the 911 call. So this is not nothing made up.
Julia?
Dawn, Stacey, that's right. Sangamon County says these new details come from their new website with information about Sonia Massey and the investigation into that.
I don't think it was a 911 call. I think it was the dispatchers talking back and forth. And it was, I was just talking about Sonia Massey. So my last video where I talked about her, because we spoke about this already, it was in that video. And it was like conversation between the dispatchers. Self-inflicted? Yeah, self-inflicted. Really?
Involved shooting.
The family didn't even find out it was police involved until they seen it on the news.
County officials say that they were aware that the phrase self-inflicted was used by radio dispatchers on 911. But this officials also say former Deputy Sean Grayson stated at least twice in the body camera video that he was the shooter.
They were saying it was self-inflicted initially, or it was some intruder who did it, but they never said it was law enforcement who did it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what does this say? The sheriff's office has referred to the incident as self-inflicted. While we are aware that the phrase of self-inflicted was used, we understand it to be a quick question by dispatchers. Initially, no cover-up has no cover-up has occurred. The sheriff's office contacted the Illinois State Police and requested that they initiate and take over the investigation of the incident even before Miss Massey was reported to have passed away. According to our records, this was requested at 1:42 a.m. July 6, 2024. The sheriff's office shared all information. Anyway.
Sonia Massey's family said last week that calling it a self-inflicted incident was an attempt to cover up the shooting. County officials responded saying, quote, "We understood it to be a question by dispatchers initially, and that, quote, no cover-up has occurred." The sheriff's office is also calling on the Illinois State Police to investigate the claims on the scanner audio, suggesting that the cause of death was self-inflicted. Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Julia Rosier. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. The sheriff's office contacted Illinois State Police to take over the investigation at 1:42 a.m.
It could have been made to be self-inflicted if that partner wouldn't have had his camera on. Possibly they would have made that happen some kind of way. I don't know. And as ridiculous as that may sound, maybe he would have. Oh, she grabbed my weapon and she fired, and I had to take it back and fire on her. They would have made something up. Trust me.
Yeah.
See, they wanted to be able to say that. That's why they said it. It ain't no. How could they get that wrong? I heard one person say self-inflicted and another person confirmed it.
July 6th. And we are taking a live look now at Chicago. Attorney Ben Crump, who represents the Massey family, is about to hold a press conference. Crump and community leaders, they are right.
That is the impartial administration of justice, no matter who they are.
Milheiser said there needs to be more partnerships between the community and law enforcement in order to help keep people safe. Many residents spoke about being scared of law enforcement and are now fearful.
Right here.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do, sir.
In November of 2022, then Logan County Deputy Sean Grayson had a meeting with the Chief Deputy, Nate Miller. It was over an incident that started with Grayson wanting to pull over a female who looked, in quote, suspicious.
100, she just took off on me. I just needed to wait for them to start the vehicle.
You were going to stop them for just their behavior in a vehicle?
No, I mean, I was going to wait for a traffic violation, but in my mind, that was the whole reason I was going to see what they were doing. It was just the reaction of the female in the truck.
This led to a high-speed pursuit that Grayson was ordered to terminate.
Just for traffic, go ahead and just terminate anyway.
He ignored that order, going as fast as 110 miles per hour before striking a deer.
Well, I'll definitely be terminated because the buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
See, and he didn't even take responsibility for that. He blamed the deer. Oh, I'm going to get fired now. A buck just hit the side of my... No, you hit the buck. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing changed. This is still the same person that we're talking about. Same person that didn't listen to nobody. And they gonna let this dude out. Come on, man.
After that event, Grayson was ordered to...
And then the lady that he was harassing, he was totally harassing them, then took the boyfriend to jail, then went into the freaking hospital room and told while the doctor was checking her because they suspected she put drugs up there, right? So he has the nerve to walk into the room with this woman. And they had a lot to say, like they complained about that. And then her boyfriend was being harassed. Well, your girlfriend, like she got another boyfriend or some bull crap he was doing, like no integrity at all. And we got honor integrity service right here. Office of the Sheriff, Office of the Sheriff, Logan County Office, honor integrity service. Where's the integrity now? Where has it been?
A report that Logan County said had multiple inaccuracies. Grayson says he did not review the body cam footage before writing it.
You got a report writing violation for policy. You got an accuracy violation for policy. You got a standard of conduct violation for policy, and we're 48 seconds into this.
The chief deputy says that Grayson, while working at his previous job, the Auburn Police Department, arrested some people who were not prosecuted by the state's attorney.
Sean, I'm going to have a hard, straight-up conversation with you right now. I have a strong feeling I know why they were dropped. They dropped your cases because of what I'm looking at right here. We can't trust what you say and what you see.
Can we trust him now? Can we trust him out here in the community? I don't care what his restrictions are. It didn't stop Gillespie from unaliving himself. We want this bastard to pay for what he did. We don't want him to be able to go home and take the easy way out like the other cop just did. I mean, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous.
We can't have you in our uniform.
Grayson was warned that it's vital to be accurate.
But a lot of officers have been charged and end up in jail because that's what they perceived. Official misconduct will land you in jail.
In the final report, Logan County did say that Grayson appeared to be honest during the interview and acknowledged his inability to recall from memory alone. Sangamon County hired Grayson after his tenure at Logan County. They said they were not provided these documents and were not aware of them. Both Sangamon County and Logan.
They wasn't provided those documents and wasn't aware of them. And this is what I was talking about when I said they're supposed to, when a cop is disciplined or let go, there's supposed to be a place that they put these that everybody that want to hire him later can go look at. But if they're not put there, there's nothing to look at. See how they put things in place like, oh, well, we need to have a database where they put all of this stuff at, all of these disciplinary actions. That way, when they hire them, try to go get another job, that'll show up. But it don't if they ain't putting it there. See how they, when they, everybody go out and protest, they complain, they get laws passed and all of this stuff. And then what happens? They work around it. It doesn't work. It disappears. It's a joke. For real.
County did not comment on why they weren't exchanged when I reached out to them today. I'm Carson Gordy.
I've been sitting here looking at this.
Thank you, Carson. We will have the full audio.
Ain't a damn thing changed.
Recording of this meeting on our website, newschannel20.com.
And that's what they want you to do. Go. Just pray and sing, and that's it. Don't fight. Just let us do it. Let it happen. Just let it happen. Now, where's the thing that I was at? This one.
An appellate court flaw is the name of the piece. I wish I could tell you it was not deep down and in there and systemic, but I cannot. It is truly, truly hit people of color and poverty like a full-blown pandemic. Some folks sit on their high horses because they are white. They think out of mind and their experiences
Welcome in, Blue
out
Lotus.
of sight. What is this elusive and idiotic problem Black and brown folks experience every day? It's called over-incarceration, systemic racism, economic disparities, injustice, and social dismay.
That's how they want it.
It's called inequity, sexism, bigotry, police violence, diabetes, and the 1994 crime bill. It is synonymous for Black, Indigenous, and people of color getting another raw deal. One day I will tell you it is no longer deep down in there and systemic. But right now,
Blue Lotus,
they're
I'm
treating
using
the
your
Safety
cup
Act
right now.
like it is just a gimmick. I want to remain in Illinois, like many of my family and the white ally friend, but not to my detriment and an untimely, lethal end. They want to let a psychopathic misogynist out after he murdered Sonia Massey. To teach proponents of pretrial fairness, police will not be held to a standard to protect and serve. The appellate court wants to release a hateful and unremorseful killer, knowing it reads, "Thou shalt not kill," in God's holy word. Where is the justice for Sonia Massey? Why isn't injustice? Why isn't justice for such urgently exacted like that deputies' gun. We are tired of hearing Black folks just waiting for our turn while you prioritize justice for a white daughter or white son.
I'm so happy y'all here. I can relax a little bit. I've been blocking trolls, so please, y'all already know. They come in here even with laughing and ain't a damn thing funny. Block them. If you ain't never seen them before, block them. Soon as they say something stupid, block them. Let's play hide the troll.
Our feelings are raw. Our patience has worn thin. What kind of fair battle do you think you're in? You keep Black folks locked up for low-level, nonviolent crap, while you tunnel out of the laws and statuses for white murderers and literally hand them a get-out-of-free jail map. He did not comply with authority then, and he won't abide by any conditions now. The thought of house arrest won't even bring one bead of sweat to his unhuman and inhuman brow. I wish I could tell you racism wasn't deep down and in there and effing systemic, while some folks of color are being murdered after surviving a worldwide pandemic.
Thank you. That was deep. I think I'm going to drop the mic, but there's too many up here. At this time, I'm going to ask my friend, Dr. Lisa Johnson, to come forward, please. Let's give her a hand.
You gotta pay attention.
Good afternoon. I was asked to speak to you by Teresa Haley because this is an extremely serious issue that reaches not only the city of Springfield, which is the capital of Illinois, but it reaches across Illinois and across the United States of America. The idea that a white perpetrator who wears an officer's uniform should be given so much.
Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up.
Black people languish.
What the heck is going on here? Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. For sharing. For sharing. For sharing me. Thank you for sharing.
What in the fuckity fuck kind of shit is this?
Wow. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and press that. It's free, y'all. It is free 99. Hit the thumbs up.
Behind bars for insignificant and insufficient charges is a relic that stems from the very beginning of the United States. As we sit here toward the end of 2024, I cannot help but to remember that this is the city that is reestablishing lines, land grants, having national attention drawn to it because it wants to celebrate or commemorate the 1908 Springfield riot. But I would like for us to ask ourselves if we are actually in 2024 or if this is still 1908. In 1908, none of the white people who enlisted such violence against Black people along Madison and Jefferson streets, none of them ever suffered for the terrorism that they wrought in this community and particularly on people of color. None of them ever suffered. Are we in 1908 or are we in 2024? In 1908 and in 1919 in Chicago and in several other race riots across the state of Illinois, white people never paid for the injustices that were wrought against Black people. And in 2024, we understand that there are whole families that are still suffering the intergenerational traumas that were inflicted on people like William Donnellan in 1908. As a matter of fact, as I am given to understand, the Massey family is connected to William Donnellan of 1908. So are we in 2024 or are we still in 1908?
Enjoy the block party,
the
Michael.
idea that
dumbass
enslavement was legal, colonialism was legal, imperialism is legal.
So happy my snipers
In
in the
order
building.
for capitalism to thrive, it absolutely requires that whole groups of people be oppressed. Capitalism calls for the exploitation of a labor force. And the United States has, in its infinite wisdom, decided that it would be easier to categorize people of color as the exploited class. And so they enlisted the help of police forces.
Listen,
and
man,
a criminal
what I'm gonna
justice
say is,
system
if we don't give a damn
to
who
make
does,
that exploitation.
who will care if we don't care? If we can be distracted off of stuff like this right here, everybody should be talking about it. They should. And I'm not 3 days late because I actually talked about it, but I didn't play this. I haven't heard this, but this is important to know how everybody is feeling. This is not just the feelings of us that's in this chat, some of us, or us that's been following it from over here genuinely. You know, everybody is feeling this way, and it's not okay. And yeah, we have to keep having these talks. This is how Black people have to get justice. It don't come easy for the dumb asses that don't know or refuse to really give your honest, refuse to see the truth. Let's just say that.
Solid and transferable across generations. So that in 2024, we still experiencing the vestiges of residential segregation and disproportionate access to resources, education, economic mobility. Our churches are still segregated. Our involvement in government is still segregated. Is it 2024 or is it 1908?
Now, I'm only entertaining this comment. You're stupid. Why talking about white people don't have nothing to do with racism from 120 years ago? Yeah, nothing's changed. Are you looking at this? This didn't happen 120 years ago. It happened in July. Okay? So get the hell out of here. I'm sure you're already gone.
The idea that anyone must galvanize this much attention for a criminal justice system that still practices the same type of institutional racism that allowed so much carnage in 1908.
Shout out to Blue Lotus.
1919,
Snipers in the building.
1899, and then refused to teach children the real history. We had to have middle schoolers to come to the city council to plead for some commemoration for 1908. And this past week, we had to have high schoolers to plead for some commemoration of Indigenous Peoples Day and the fact that white supremacy reigned so heavily that even Indigenous people's history could not be recognized in a state that has so many towns named for the very Indigenous tribes that were annihilated. Is it 2024 or is it 1908? We are here to ask, plead, beg, demand that the appellate court not let this man go free. The idea that an institutionalized group of people should use the very Safety Act that has been put into place to save poor people and people of color and use it.
Now, for the idiot that just made that comment about nobody is stopping black people from doing right, getting a great education and getting a great job and making a lot of money, black people always bring up stuff from 100 years ago, plus time to grow up. Yet we're talking about something from July, and we ain't talking about jobs and all of that stuff. We know in every way how black people are held down. You know what I'm saying? But I don't use those type of excuses. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody holds me down from being great, period. Nobody holds you down from being great too, either. Do your thing. But there are systems in place, like the one that we looking at right now. That's what we talking about. I don't even like when people use it as an excuse. You know, I can't do this because of that. No, you can do a lot of things. Like, people just don't eat. Some people use excuses to stay stuck. But that ain't what's happening over here. That ain't what's happening on the screen either. These are people, productive people that's doing their thing. You know, and I mean, I hear some people blaming the white man and all of this, but the system is messed up. The system is built to work this way. That's why they continue to get away with it. The laws are built to work this way. The laws need to be dismantled. Everything that was created, not just take away all of these slave owners' statues and all of that. Take away the laws that they created. That's helping this stuff to keep happening. You know why it won't change? Because this is the way they want it to be. In my opinion.
To turn around and save
allegedly,
a white supremacist murderer is not new. I wish it could say it was new. It is not new. It is a carryover of the centuries old institutional racism that has pervaded the criminal justice system, the government system, the education system, the economic system, and every other system that calls itself a bastion of justice. Is this justice? No. This is not justice. This is the same institutional racism that has been going on in the United States for over 400 years. This is what we must say to the appellate court. Absolutely not. This stops here. This stops here. Sean Grayson, nor any other racist perpetuator of injustice and murder, no other perpetuator should be let go free, should be allowed the same rights that the rest of us have, should be allowed the opportunity to see their family members over Christmas or over New Year's or over President's Day or over Valentine's Day or over Easter or over the 4th of July, because what is your 4th of July to the enslaved black person? And there are some of those of us who would still claim that we are enslaved and not free yet. So at the very least, the appellate court must keep this man and all of us like him behind bars, because as James Baldwin would say, I hear what you say, but I see what you do.
Okay. Your words and actions are saying something different now.
All right, Dr. Lisa.
Period.
At this time, we have 2 more speakers that we're going to.
Hold on, let me see something, because her dad actually spoke too recently. Okay, I don't have that right now. Hold on, I have to grab that.
So at the very least, the appellate court must keep this man and all others like him behind bars, because as James Baldwin would say, I hear what you say, but I see what you do. All right, Dr. Lisa. At this time, we have two more speakers that we're going to close it out with, and they're close family members. The next young lady that I'd like to bring up is Sonia Massey's first cousin. When I got the call that Sonya had been murdered and they needed help and they wanted to find out a way of getting a hold of Ben Crump, they called my personal cell phone right after church. I hurried over to the house only to find Sonia's first cousin on the floor, sopping up blood with a body towel. And I yelled at her, and I didn't mean to yell at her, but it scared me. I said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm trying to get the blood and get the house cleaned up before Sonia's babies get back." Because we were having a balloon release later that day. And she just, she's not a public speaker, but this is her first cousin. So I'm going to bring her up, and as she comes up, say her name. Say her name. Say her name. Come on, baby girl. Let's give her a hand as she come up and encourage her. And this is her and her other cousin. All of them stay together. Tell them who you are.
I'm Sonia Massey. I'm Sonya's first cousin. I'm Natasha Massey. I'm Sonya's first cousin. And I don't have much to say. I just want the appellate court to not make the decision to allow Sean Grayson out. That is going to be a hurtful day for my family and Sonya's mother, who is not doing well, who has not done well since the day Sonya has passed. Letting Sean Grayson out, I think, will hurt my auntie real bad. So I'm just asking to do anything to not let him out of jail.
Let's give her a hand. Let's encourage her. Okay. And last but not least, I want to bring up Sonia's father, Mr. James Wilburn.
Okay,
let's give him a hand. Encourage him. He's been standing the whole time, y'all.
My message to those three judges who ruled unanimously that Sean Grayson is not a danger to the people of Springfield. If you got room in your house, give him a bedroom to live in your house. If there's a house for sale on your block, let him move on the block where you live. And we'll see how quickly that NIMBY attitude comes out in you. Not on my block. But you say he's no longer a threat to civilized people here in Springfield. I live in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Disgusting.
I feel safe where I live because we have a black county chief executive. We have black sheriffs, black mayors, black city council people. So the same kind of systemic racism that occurs here in Illinois' capital doesn't occur where I live. But I want to tell you that my people, they built rotundas like this. They built the one in Washington, D.C. See, my people, they worked for 400 years to build this country and never got a dime, never got one red penny. I see you, my brother, back there. I was eating in a restaurant here, and this young man came up and he said, "I'm going to be here at this rally." I see you back there, my brother. I thank you all for being here. The last thing that my baby said to me was, "Daddy, I love you." And we never, whether it was in person or on the telephone, did not end the conversation with her telling me that I love you. And I want to tell you all that until a undertaker puts some embalming fluid in this body, I'm going to fight to keep my daughter's killer in a jail cell. I don't ever want to see him walk free amongst any of us.
And he should never walk free.
If there is any debate, I'll take Greg Harris, Kwame Raoul, John Milheiser. I'll take them three, and I'll put them against those three appellate court justices, and we can have a debate on whether this killer, even though his fangs have been pulled, he doesn't have the ability right now to kill anybody because he's sitting in a jail cell where he should stay for the rest of his miserable life that he has left. I didn't prepare any remarks today, but I want to speak on behalf of my child that I don't have here anymore. I can't talk to her anymore. But as long as I have breath in my body, I would encourage the Illinois Supreme Court to keep that killer locked up. That's the best place for him. Because it might be a problem if he gets out on the streets. I'm looking at some of my white brothers, brown brothers, black brothers. They've got a message for you, Sean Grayson. Come on out. Come on out.
Oh, okay, Daddy. At this time, we're going to open it up just for a few questions.
Come on
Mr.
now.
Wilburn, you want to come back up? Mr. Calvin, you want to come back up? Come back up. Anybody else who spoke want to come back up? If you all
Sam,
have
come
any
on up. Bring justice with you.
Justice. I always tell
Let's
Sam,
finish it up, I
justice
guess.
is
Let's
usually
see.
just us. And then he turned around and named his baby Justice. She's beautiful. I've been holding on to her ever since she got here. But if the media has any questions that they want to ask, we're here.
Clarity in the law, some specific language about TV murder, about alleged murders, what specifically are you looking for?
We're looking for Millhiser and his team to represent the family and the community, communicate to the Supreme Court, whatever it is that they're saying we're missing that allows this jerk to be able to get out of jail. We're asking the legislators to sit down with community members, community leaders, those who are boots on the ground, those who have to live and walk every day and fear for their lives, to listen to us, to share with us what their main intent was, to work through whatever loopholes they have. Because as I stated earlier, this is not what the Safety Act was designed to do. Some people say it's doing exactly what it's designed to do because it's letting white people out of jail, murderers out of jail. Like I stated before, I got family members who are in jail for murder, for drug use. They're not letting them out of jail because these same judges are saying they have this additional charge. I'd rather you sell me a little weed than to shoot me. But that's not justification to keep us in jail. Yes.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add that a lot of our justice system is discretionary, of course, almost the whole thing. So, we really need to focus on the discretion misjudgments by these judges. And if the Supreme Court would do the right thing and use their discretion, of course, there's going to be discretionary parts of the bill, and none of us are legislators. So I think, let's focus on the actions of the appellate court judges that have abused their power.
I want to add one thing too as well. In the appellate ruling, the appellate judges basically stated in the ruling that he was acting in the capacity as a sheriff deputy instead of as an individual person. That's something also too that should probably be changed as well in the Safety Act as well, because regardless, he was acting as himself and on behalf of the sheriff's deputy. He is a danger. That was him doing that, regardless if he's the sheriff's deputy or not. So just because you're a sheriff's deputy, you think that allows you to get out of jail for murder because you were acting in capacity as a sheriff's deputy? No, it
Get outta
doesn't.
here.
He was acting as an individual as well. So that's something.
He was a thug, whether he was in a uniform or freaking not. And so the next thing I'm going to talk about is this judge and sheriff thing that I've talked about before. But these are the kind of people that's supposed to be held at the highest level, right? But we'll see what they do too.
Something that also needs to be modified in the Safety Act as well, regardless if you're an individual or you're a sheriff's deputy or a Springfield police officer or any type of other officer. Thank you.
Yeah, you got any other questions?
Confidence in the ambulance on this so far? Given that ambulance court said the county didn't do enough to keep this alleged murder.
I think this is a bastardization of the Safety Act. I think the Safety Act was enacted to keep low-level criminals who could not afford a bond that was set to allow them to get out on bond. That wasn't for this guy has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 more felonies. This is a complete bastardization of it. And that's why I tell those 3 appeals courts judges to, if you think you can defend your position, go up against Kwame Raoul, go up against Greg Harris, go up against John Millhiser.
See how they take something that was meant to help regular people and put it on and give it to the cop. Like, that's crazy. Okay, good. They can do it and it's gonna work against y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of way. Like, come on. So the Safety Act is something that the people fought for and wanted and thought it was a good thing. And now they take that same Safety Act and use it for the type of people that they want to actually stay in there. It's a slap in the face. It really is.
Do it now. I'd like to see that debate occur.
Yes, Monica. To write them. And what we have to do, we just had a major election. As we vote them in, we need to vote people out if they're not meeting the needs of the community. I care about people, not politics, but politics is a necessary evil. So pay attention to what's happening with our judges.
And that's exactly why we got Donald Trump up there today, because I usually don't focus on politics, but it's a lot of stuff moving that we need to be paying attention to.
If they're not meeting the needs of you, your family, and your community, we need to vote them out, revisit
it, vote them out. And I'm a leave it on that note with this one. I totally agree with that. We got to start paying attention and staying on top of things. Like, if you really care, follow through with it. Like, I mean, more of us need to be talking about this. So I'm a go on to the judge, because that is the appropriate video to go on to. I'm gonna have to change my thumbnail all the way, but this stuff right here is more important than, you know, some of the other things I got here that I might not even get to, but we'll see. I got a class in 40 minutes, so let's see what we can get through. So the next thing I am going to talk about, though, is this judge and the sheriff and all of their dirty duties that they've been doing right in the judge's chambers. And they was held at such high
New developments in the fatal shooting of a Kentucky judge are what's trending this morning in true crime, as recordings could tie the slain judge to a sex for favor scandal.
You hear that?
Audio recordings were obtained by News Nation from a criminal investigation into a Letcher County deputy sheriff in an unrelated case.
Not the judge. Not the judge. Now, see, we found out. I'm telling y'all, when I first found out that it was a sheriff deputy that was having sex in the judge's chambers with somebody that couldn't afford a freaking a house arrest bracelet, so she was given favors, or she was asked or forced, but not really forced. I mean, she wanted to not have to pay for that and get out or whatever, and they did it, but it was a abuse of power, right? When I found that out, I was like, the judge, how is anything going on in the judge's chambers that the judge don't know about? Who gave him the key? So the judge's chambers was like a Motel 6. You could give a 10-minute stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, these are the people that make the decisions for your life, though. And everybody just respected the judge and the sheriff, and they loved them. And this whole little town was just blind, I guess, to what was really going on.
Sabrina Atkins is alleged.
Don't praise no human, praise God. You won't be disappointed.
To be a victim in that case, and she's the woman who's heard speaking to investigators while claiming that Judge Kevin Mullins was one part of a scheme to exchange sex for special treatment.
He does have some videotapes of some stuff in the.
Okay, the judge traded favors for X, huh? Person one. But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers. What kind of stuff? Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
Judge's chambers. What kind of stuff? Just with girls, sexual and stuff. What describe? Have you seen the video? I've seen one, partly, just them having sex with girls too.
This is freaking disgusting. Like, what kind? What? Describe. Have you seen the video? I've seen one partly. Just him having sex with girls for their bail for them to get out of jail. What kind of, man, really? This some low-level BS that he doing. Like, I mean, total abuse of power. This dude, I don't even remember how long he had been a deputy sheriff, but I would have to believe that everybody that's attached to this new something. So the sheriff that unalived the judge, the deputy that was doing these things was directly under the sheriff. The judge allegedly wasn't doing nothing. The judge was kind of like not even in the midst of it at first when I first found out about it, right? It seemed like it was this dirty deputy. And then so when the complaints got written, which I'm assuming it might be one of the women that's talking here, or the woman that's talking here, said that the sheriff didn't do nothing to discipline this deputy for what he did. So they went higher. So I believe that when he went in there and unalived the judge, it was because he was put out of his house by his wife, and it was probably because of what was going on here. This is what's being said. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just a lot of disgusting stuff for people in high places that use their power to just dummy down a whole group of people, a whole system, just for their just for their gratifications. Just for their just disgusting. Like, I mean, they're no different than the people that we like. Diddy, we talking about Diddy. We gonna be talking about Jay-Z. You know what? They want to vilify these people, but these folks get held at a higher standard, and nobody wants to see them go down. What makes them any better? They decided to go to school to become a judge, or they decided to be a cop. They still a regular person who needs to be treated like a regular person. The law should be the law. And so, you know, this is what I'm looking at here. You know how we don't really get justice? This is how we get justice. God exposes them. This is how eventually, I mean, so what do we say? This is the white on white crime here because it's a white woman telling on the judge, you know, the deputy, and exposing all this. They get exposed by their own. This is our justice. We got to start paying attention to more of this because they going down. I'm talking about police department, sheriffs. I mean, a mayor was just unalived. I forgot where it was at. Before they police department only had like a sheriff and 4 people work. It was 4 of them total. They quit. They walked away. About a week later, I hear the mayor of the same police department is gone. The police was following him, it's like, AKA chasing him or whatever, and he ran into a parked car or something weird. So it's a lot of stuff going on with these departments. They ain't getting away. They might be getting away with the said crime, but they ain't getting away scot-free because somehow they being found out, and we here to watch it.
For the baby to get out there. Who was having sex? Ben and just some higher-ups up there. Who? The judge and... You saw the video? Yeah.
The judge. She said she saw a video. So this ain't no rumor here. Sound like they had a lot going on. Ben and just some higher ups there. Who was So Ben must be the one that was under the sheriff that's locked up now.
Who? The judge and you saw the video.
The sheriff name is Mickey Steins. The big guy that unalived the judge, and the guy that worked under him, I'm assuming name is Ben.
What did you see in the video? I mean, I think there's one thing was a girl. Who was it?
She's seen Judge Mullins, this funny looking dude. She's seen it. What? Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
What y'all know about this? Let me see what y'all saying. What do y'all know about this? So they had other duties going on that a lot of people just don't know about, right? Oh yeah, they can treat the judge's chambers just like a Motel 6. I figured it was some type of X scandal. Exactly. Look at that. See? The world is doomed, the Real says. Man, listen, this is scary. It really is, y'all. And I mean, and then we got Donald Trump as the president, who he had all kind of scandals on him. It's like, yeah, I mean, what is going on, y'all? You know, but some of the things that Donald Trump is talking about changing make a lot of sense to me, though. You know, some of his take on, because I was cracking up when he was talking about changing this gender stuff and all of that. Like, if you was born a man, that's what you gonna, you know, all that kind of stuff. I want to kind of get in. I want to understand what is Donald Trump talking about here. What's he talking about?
I don't know a lot of people from where was it at? In the judge's chambers. Is that the same place that you were meeting then? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who? Mullins.
Now, the motive and the circumstances behind Mullins' death remain unclear this morning, but we're asking, how could the sex for favors accusation affect the sheriff's trial? Let's bring in our power panel. Still with me, prosecuting attorney Anton Bell, retired criminal defense attorney.
Well, we gonna end it right there. We definitely wanted to hear that. So we got our eyes on this trial as it develops. And yeah, what else was the judge up to? So if y'all seen that, have y'all familiar with this, right? As a matter of fact, maybe I need to pull up another video because I wanted to point something out. Give me 1 second here. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. If y'all did not check my video out from yesterday, please do. We talked about all this. And I mean, we've been going live every day, sometime twice a day. You know what I'm saying? And so we've been on top of things. But give me a few minutes. Let me pull up what I'm trying to pull up. Let y'all go ahead and take this time to smack the thumbs up. How about that? Thank you.
New developments in the fatal shooting of a Kentucky judge are what's trying to this morning in True Crime, as recordings could tie the slain judge to a sex for favor scandal. Audio recordings were obtained by News Nation from a criminal investigation into a Letcher County deputy sheriff in an unrelated case. Sabrina Atkins is alleged to be a victim in that case, and she's the woman who's heard speaking to investigators while claiming that Judge Kevin Mullins was one part of a scheme to exchange sex for special treatment.
He does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers. What kind of?
27 seconds of video showing the brutal murder of District Judge Kevin Mullins. But according to the defense attorney for former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins, the man accused of murdering Mullins, those 27 seconds lack the full story.
I think that we need to.
Case that's gripped not just Kentuckians, but people across the nation from the beginning. When former Letcher County Sheriff
Straight up savage right here.
allegedly shot and killed District Judge Kevin Mullins in his chambers on September 19th. Kylie Hill sat down with the attorneys representing Steins to learn more about his client's mindset. Our top story at 6:30.
The video itself is disturbing and it's
27 seconds of video showing the brutal murder of District Judge Kevin Mullins. But according to the defense attorney for former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins, the man accused of murdering Mullins, those 27 seconds lack the full story.
I think that we need to see the entire video.
What I mean, do y'all see that? This man had just got done leaving lunch with this guy. All right. So one of the things that happened throughout this, they showed a recording when they were just standing there, like during their trial. They showed a recording where they were just sitting at this desk talking, and then Steins ends up going to his. He called his daughter from his phone, and then he picks up the judge's phone and called his daughter from the judge's phone. The daughter did not answer his phone call, the father's phone call from his phone. But when she got the phone call from the judge's phone, she answered. And that's when all of this stuff happened. They was just coming back from a lunch. They said that, you know, it seemed like it was something going on a little bit off. And the judge ends up asking him, do you want to go into, maybe we need to have a private conversation or whatnot. He goes into, they end up going into the chambers to have this private conversation. And next thing you know, all of this stuff happens. It's just the strangest thing. You know, everybody is devastated by these actions. But we learning from them, like, God dang, like y'all was besties just yesterday. Like, so it will be interesting to know, like, all the, because I don't have the court documents or nothing like that. I don't know what all these people are saying that was Mickey Stein's involvement, which is the one that fired on the judge. Initially, when this happened, I thought that it was something going on. Like, I'm like, was the judge messing with his daughter or something? Because when he did this, when he left out of the room, out of the courthouse that day, he said that they're trying to kidnap my daughter and wife. That's what he said. So what's really going on? When I heard that, I'm like, what kind of prostitution ring they got going on in the courthouse? And then this is when he went, he pleaded not guilty right here. Wait, hold on. Y'all got to see this. He pleaded not guilty. And it was just weird because when the one guy went up there as a witness, the way that his face was looking, you could tell that he did not want to tell on his buddy. He didn't even want to talk against them or anything. They was just like shook behind this. But y'all see how cold this man did that to his friend. These are the people we talking about right here. Now listen. Now, they had to have a retired judge come up here to arraign this case because the judge that would have been doing it would have been the one that he took out. And the deputy would have been him that would have been there, right there with him. This is his right-hand man. This is how we get justice. Exposure. Look at this. What in the hell? This is justice, taking them out one judge, one sheriff at a damn time. However you can get them. Like, get out of here. Corrupt. We gonna be glued on this trial, and I hope it's televised. Do not play with us with this one. We want to know everything, right? We need to know what they've been getting away with, and how many cases do they need to reopen because of this disgusting judge? How many criminal people have they taken out of prison for sex? You know what I'm saying? Like, boy, if women, if y'all don't know, y'all powerful. Y'all don't know. This white girls rule the world. But yeah, anyway.
Yes, and counsel that is Jeremy Bartley and Terry Bartley.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sure, and also the Honorable Gene Cox as well, Your Honor. All right, how are you? Thank you. Now, Commonwealth is represented this morning by Mr. Montgomery.
Jackie Steele, Your Honor.
Jackie Steele. And your co-counsel in this case
Is Ms. Randy
is
Down?
assigned to the Attorney
We really ain't here to watch it. I just wanted to show y'all
She's a losing green.
them walking in there. I wanna.
We'll do that. We filed that down in district court. I just want to renew that. I will file a written notice as well, Your Honor. And I would just ask the court to go ahead and enter a discovery order.
No objection.
counsel. My original intention in this case was to move on for purposes of issuing the warrant for arrest.
Oh, absolutely, Judge, and I believe that my understanding was that the court simply doesn't want to pick up bond at this time, but we can still file an adversarial bond.
You have every right to file for an adversarial bond hearing. We can act with that.
Yeah, we just wanted to see him walk in there. I ain't about to. I hate when the audio is low like that too. That is a reason why I would not watch something. I'm not about to strain my ears trying to hear nothing. Oh, he about to leave. We'll watch him walk out. We just want to know all the info. We want to know everything that happened. These is people they held at a high standard, baby. How did it go bad so fast? One of the things I heard that he asked, just treat me fair. I said, I wonder what made him say that, because he's seen so many other people been treated unfairly. Is that why he said that? I bet you. Okay, let's find out what's going on with Jay-Z. Let's see. And I'm surprised Jay-Z didn't already move. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. Before, you know what? I think Donald Trump is more appropriate. Let's see what the hell Donald Trump talking about. That's what and I'll come back later maybe and talk about Jay-Z. But hold on. Everybody
I'll say about the nominees.
Jay-Z for sure. Let me see. I gotta read a few things too. Give me a few minutes, y'all. Not minutes, but a few seconds. Get this together. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please.
What in the fuckity kind of shit is this?
The president has put forward is that they are persons who will shake up the status quo.
Former Fox contributor Dr. Jeanette Neshwat as Surgeon General, former Congressman Director David Weldon as CDC Director, former Fox contributor Dr. Marty McCary as FDA Director.
We've seen something that goes far beyond using your best judgment with the information at hand. We've seen something which is unforgivable, and that is the weaponization of medical research itself. And the public health officials were intellectually dishonest. They lied to the American people.
And Surgeon Marty McCary is set to lead the FDA, while Dr. Jeanette Neshwat is set to become the U.S. Surgeon General. Congrats to all.
Does politics have any place in the medical field?
No, I mean, we see what happened with the COVID pandemic this past 2 years, how the mandates and the masking have all become politicized. It turned into a disaster.
Is there any reason to have mandates?
Absolutely not, Carly. I think it's illogical to mandate something that's ineffective. I can tell you firsthand, having taken care of thousands of COVID patients, these little flimsy surgical masks, they're ineffective. I've worked the front.
President-elect Donald Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here. You are the first president since Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days in office?
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and the first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into our country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So
So one of the things that I'm noticing that he's talking about is pardon the 2021 U.S. rioters. What do y'all think about that? Those people being pardoned. And why should they be pardoned? You know, if they broke the law, somebody was unalive, people got hurt and all of that stuff. So I just wanted to read this, that President Donald Trump elect said he will look to pardon for those involved in a 2021 riot on his first day back in office next month. These people are living in hell, he told the NBC Meet the Press right here. So the Republicans also vowed to end automatic citizenship for anyone born in the country, but offered to work with Democrats to help some undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. In a wide range of sit down, which was recorded on Friday, which is this, Donald Trump promised to issue a lot of executive orders involving immigration, energy, and economy after he is inaugurated on the 20th of January. Also, while he suggests that he should not seek a Justice Department, while he suggested he would not seek a Justice Department investigation into Joe Biden, he said that some of his political adversaries, including lawmakers who investigated the Capitol, should be jailed. Wow. So Trump was asked whether he would seek to pardon the hundreds of people convicted on the involvement of the riot when supporters of when they stormed the Congress 3 months after his defeat in 2020 election. He said, we're going to look at independent cases. He said, yeah, but I'm going to be acting very quickly. First day, he added. Trump continued, you know why? By the way, they've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open. So the president-elect said on Sunday, so he offered, wait, hold on. Here's a few of the things that he's talking about. Now, one of the things right here, Trump said he thinks some has to find out if there's a link between autism and childhood vaccines. We definitely have heard that and believe that, allegedly. So an idea that has been ruled out by multiple studies around the world. Trump suggested his nominee for Health Secretary, vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would look into the matter. The president-elect repeated his promise that he will not seek to cut Social Security, nor raise its eligibility age, though he said he would make it more efficient without offering further details. He pressed on whether his plan to impose tariffs on imports from major U.S. trading partners would raise consumer prices for Americans. He said, I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. Hold on. I'm going to let this play a little bit.
We'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because, you know, they're coming due and they're very substantial for people. And it would be very, I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever. And those two things are going to be very vital, very important. We're going to be focusing on crime in the cities. And we'll work with Democrat governors. Most of them are, as you know, if you look at the 25 worst places, they're just about all Democrat.
And he said, Trump said he would not seek to impose restrictions on an abortion pill, when asked to make a guarantee, he added, well, I commit. I mean, things change.
Controlled cities and states, and we're going to be working with Democrat governors and Democrat mayors, and I look forward to doing it. But we have to do something about crime, and mostly in our cities. And we're going to have a lot of other things. We'll be working on nominations. We're going to still be working on some nominations. I think they're going very well. We have, for the most part, I think they're going extremely well. It looks like Peter's doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. Went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military. And I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
We are going to delve into your nominations, but since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy. I used to kid him about it. I didn't think it would be in this position where he may be, hopefully will be Secretary of Defense. But every time I was with him, he was fighting for soldiers, where he said some soldier was unjustly put in prison because they were really doing what they were taught to do in some cases. So, yeah, I think he's going to do fine.
The fact that there are these allegations against him, misconduct, sexual misconduct, heavy drinking, the fact that he said to some senators reportedly he'll stop drinking if he gets this job, does that worry you?
No, I think that everybody has something that they can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drinker, but I could stop eating. And we all want to stop doing something. And if he said that, I mean, it's a nice thing to say. That's a good thing to say. But he's very respected. I can tell you, I know a lot of the people at Fox, they think he's fantastic. And the people that work with him, really, they love him. So I think you're going to have somebody that's really terrific. And again, all he talked about with me, I said, you're not really a television guy, even though he did very well, as you know. You're really a military guy. He said, I'm all about the military. And I told him, so he's making a lot of money at Fox. They're doing very well. And I said, if for some reason you don't get this thing, you're not going to be able to go back. And all that money you're making, you can kiss it goodbye. He said, this is all about America. He didn't say, well, let me think about it. Let me discuss it. That's a very big, risky thing he's doing. When he goes and he says, I'm going to give up, millions of dollars in order to possibly become the Secretary of Defense. A lot of people would say it's a great position. It's probably almost no greater position, but a lot of people would say, I have to think about it. He said, I don't have to think about it.
All right, we're going to delve into your cabinet picks a little bit later, but I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow, but I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars and we had no inflation. In fact, when I handed it over, they didn't have inflation for a year and a half. They went almost 2 years just based on what I had created. And then they created inflation with energy and with spending too much. So I think I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich. We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. Man. We're subsidizing Mexico for almost $300 billion. We shouldn't be subsidizing. Why are we subsidizing these countries? If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. We're subsidizing Mexico and we're subsidizing Canada and we're subsidizing many countries all over the world. And all I want to do is I want to have a level, fast, but fair playing field.
Sir, your previous tariffs during your first administration cost Americans some $80 billion. And now you have major companies from Walmart, Black & Decker, AutoZone saying that any tariffs are going to force them to drive up prices for their consumers. How do you make sure that these CEOs, that these companies don't, in fact, pass on the cost of tariffs to their consumers?
They cost Americans nothing. They made a great economy for us. They also solve another.
So one of the things that I was wondering about is his take on the trans community. And I know that he had talked about men and sports and all of that stuff. So I have an article here to say activists are worried that Donald Trump will bulldoze trans rights. Here's how they're preparing. And this is from December 7th. So a 38-year-old lives in Ohio where the state law has banned gender-affirming care for youth and participation of transgender girls and women on girls and women's sport teams. He is seeing and feeling the impacts of the political fights over the rights for the transgender people every day. I don't agree with men being in women's sports. I think it's ridiculous. This stuff is I don't like to really give my opinion about stuff like this, but this right here, man, come on. Like, we got to do what makes sense, right? So transgender Americans' concerns. Let me see if I could play this. Hold on.
Transgender rights a key issue in his campaign. Republicans spent more than $200 million on ads targeting trans individuals, while Trump himself promised to limit access to gender-affirming health care and to prevent trans athletes from participating in school sports. Here's Trump back in February of 2023.
I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states.
His election has communities of trans
And I
people
recently,
and
y'all,
their
I don't know if y'all seen that, but I recently ran into a girl, probably a trans girl. I don't, and she was just saying how she was misled and fighting against it. So she's actually fighting against all of the stuff that has been put together. Like, I mean, if you think about it, they're making it where the parents don't even have no say if this is what they kid want to do. Like, this just is satanic, if you ask me, to be honest. So when he said anything in that direction, it got my damn attention, because this people, and this is not the first trans person that I've heard talking against it because of what happened with them. And I wish I could find it, or maybe I'll have to come back later, because I do got a class in 10 minutes. I need to get out of here. I ain't got time. But I'm gonna try to find that. Ms. V, I agree with you on that, because that just makes sense. Man, they talk about a woman having her 48. Wait, I don't know what this person gonna say. Hold on. Lots of Democrats on the Diddy freak. Gonna be, man, listen. It's so many distractions right here. Everything you're saying is wrong. Get the hell out of my chat. I don't need you to correct me. See, people like that I don't like. Don't come in here correcting me about nothing or whatever. Just bye. Get the hell out. Make another one. You definitely gotta go.
their allies fearful of widespread discrimination.
Hold on. You definitely gotta get the hell up out of here, sir. Or ma'am. I'm gonna let that play.
Healthcare access.
BFF
Polls show
in
that more
here
than
still,
60%
I'm
of
sure.
Americans support protecting transgender people from discrimination. But they've also found that 55% believe support for trans rights has, quote, gone too far. We spoke with 3 Americans, a parent of a trans daughter, the executive director of a trans crisis hotline, and a Two-Spirit activist and parent
Now,
to a
who better to
Two-Spirit
talk
kid.
to than somebody that got a trans daughter? Like, man. Anyway, let this play.
That's a term used by Indigenous people that acknowledges the diverse nature of gender and sexuality.
I'm Sarah Adams. I am a proud Choctaw person. I live in Oklahoma, and I'm Two-Spirit.
My name is Beth. I am a parent of a trans child.
Hi, my name's Kai. My pronouns are he, they. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm the executive director of Trans Lifeline, a grassroots nonprofit that supports trans people in crisis all across America.
There's an overwhelming sense of fear. We've had lots of conversations about the need for access to health care, to gender affirming care. I work primarily with youth, and so that is a big, big concern. Safety in school.
That's just crazy to me. Anyway, let's see. See how trans lawmaker responds.
Wait a minute, this is from 2 weeks ago. Hold on.
House Speaker Mike Johnson announced a new rule on Capitol Hill. If transgender men and women are going to use single-sex bathrooms or locker rooms, they must use the one that is reserved for, as he said, their biological sex. CBS's Scott McFarland reports from the Hill.
U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson today took aim at Democrat Sarah McBride, the first ever transgender member elected to Congress, with his decision to bar transgender people from using those Capitol complex bathrooms that do not align with their sex assigned at birth.
We have single-sex facilities.
Boy, I tell you.
She didn't come to Washington to fight about bathrooms. South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace has led the charge to bar McBride from women's rooms here and does not acknowledge McBride is a woman.
We have rights as women, and we have the right not to be bombarded by men in our restrooms.
McBride spoke with CBS News Sunday morning in October.
And I can't believe I'm asking you this, but I'm going to. What bathrooms will you use when you're in the Capitol?
The bathrooms that I've used in the state Senate, the bathrooms that I use when I'm going out to dinner here in Wilmington, I'll continue to use the bathrooms that I've used for the last decade plus.
And that's the ladies' room.
President-elect Trump attacked Democrats
hold
for
on.
supporting transgender rights during
So I mean, anyway, it's a lot with that, y'all. It's a lot when you get into that, but that really caught my attention with him even focusing in on that at all, because it's too much going on, man. Too much going on. I mean, for instance, like it's certain things that insurances won't pay for, and having this is making it even more complicated, having these type of topics and just all kind of crimes and things, just all kind of things developed from this, all kind of people hurt in sports. I just it's weird. It's weird to me. It's strange. Very strange things going on. But anyway, that's our reports for the day. All Chinese ban digital media. Oh my God. And then, I mean, speaking of ban, I mean, TikTok might be out of here. Trump said he was going to save them, but he probably can't because he ain't going to even be in yet. I think he don't get, they're supposed to be out of here, the 19th? And he don't get inaugurated to the 20th. So that's going to be interesting to see what happened with all of that. Boy, we got a lot going on. And the world is still looking for the shooter. Like, well, they claim that they know who he is, where he at, and all this stuff. Well, they said they know who he is, but they don't want to give him no clues. So they ain't telling the name. They telling us that they know who he is. So you already gave the clue. Give us the name now. How about that? That's kind of weird to me. But anyway, I'll see y'all in the next video. We gonna get up out of here. Thank y'all for being here. Please be sure to smack the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And check out my video from yesterday. Check out all of my videos. We've been talking about all the latest news and updates with the CEO unaliver who still ain't caught. Nice. Have a great day, everyone. Shout out to my members. Shout out to my moderators. Shout out to Cooking with the Rook. I'm going to be live on my other channel in about an hour and a half. Our event on level. Love y'all. We out.